Good morning to all who are joining me today on this message. I gave you a little taste of them pipes, but I probably should warm up before I do that. Anywho, happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Friday, August 14th. Wow. Halfway through the 8th month of the year in 2020. And as most people would likely say, the hell with 2020. I'm like, it's actually been a really good year considering all things. So I hope you are fantastic, whether you're reading, watching this message right now, or you're watching it in the future. Either way, I hope you are fantastic. Not just good, but fantastic. This is Heart of Christ Ministry, and I am your host, Shaun Robert Grant, Reverend Shaun Robert Grant. Happy to have you with me here today. Yeah, you guessed it. Special message, getting into the concept of wealth consciousness. Okay, now, before I got into this message, I had this divine deliberation to figure out if I should talk about money, if I should talk about consciousness. And I realized consciousness is more important. Why? Because if you have a prosperity money consciousness, money won't be an issue. You can have money and have all the issues in the world, but if your consciousness is set up correctly and properly, you have no money issues. You have no issues when you have a wealth consciousness, because how I define wealth is not just cash. Wealth is everything: happiness, health, success, love, opportunity, resources, money, all that stuff. That's what wealth is to me, and it should also be to you. And so, giving you a little peek-see. So we got 4 outline topics today, or subjects that are going to really basically take your mind to that place of understanding the truth of what it is to have a wealth consciousness, what it is to have a prosperity consciousness, right? And so we're just going to get into some stuff here in the very beginning. The one thing that I really, really love about having a wealth consciousness, and it's a quote from this guy, Dr. Robert Anthony. He said, you know, I'm not rich because I have money. I have money because I am rich, right? And so what he was talking about was basically my consciousness is what allows money to show up, right? So if you followed me for a long time and you paid attention to what I've been saying, like, for a very long time as it relates to money, if you go back and listen to those Money Cure podcasts, if you look at some of the videos we did, you know, recently in the last couple of months, you'll understand that nothing else controls your cash flow other than your consciousness. And when I say consciousness, guys, all I'm basically saying is your dominant thoughts, feelings, and the actions that result from those two. Okay, that's what a consciousness is. So what's important for us to truly understand is, where is our consciousness right now? Where are we emanating from as far as consciousness goes, right? So if you're looking at things from the outside to sort of judge your level of wealth and abundance, then you're going to have some problems, right? You're just going to have issues, because what's outside isn't sustainable. Even a bank account is not sustainable. All types of outer things are not sustainable. What is sustainable is the idea that you tap into an abundance within you that no more is ever given, nothing can be added, rather, and nothing can ever be taken away. It's untainted, right? But see, we're so used to measuring materially that we sort of forget this concept, and we fall victim to feeling less than the divinely wealthy, prosperous, abundant individuals that we are, because we're looking at what's happening in front of us, when in actuality, a lot of times, the only time you can see when stuff fluctuates is when you need to be stronger in your faith, right? When you need to be stronger in your faith. Other than that, it won't really fluctuate. You'll continue to grow. You'll continue to expand because you're tapped into the ultimate prosperity concept and consciousness. Okay, so let's get into it today. All righty. Where's my number one at? There you go, right there. So I just gave you number one. That's so funny. I've been doing that a lot. I'll give it to you actually before it shows up. So the first thing you want to do in order to build a wealth consciousness, a powerful wealth consciousness, is to pay no attention to anything outside of you. And what I mean by pay no attention, don't get hung up on it, right? I was talking about this the other day. If you're in a space where you have debt, throw that to the side until the time comes for you to have to pay your debt, right? Let's say you're making payments on it. You're making payments on credit cards, on student loans, on this other stuff. Don't even think about it until it comes to the day where you have to make a payment. And when you make a payment, you'll see later on, step into gratitude. Step into immense, powerful gratitude for being able to have the abundance resonating or emanating as finances, as money, to pay part of your debt off, right? And so, as a matter of fact, and I'm just learning something right now, we shouldn't even call it debt. What I'd like to do, let's shift debt from a contractual obligation, right? Because that's what we did. We signed a contract and we used something, and now we have to, return what we've used. So it's a contractual obligation. Don't even use debt anymore. X that out, because that whole entire word just makes you feel like you're sinking into a hole and you can never, ever get out of it. So exit out. So that's what I mean when I say pay no attention to anything outside of you. Pay no attention. Let's say, you're a lot of expenses are coming up and there's not much cash flow coming in. And this is a very important part of knowing that your consciousness really does determine what's happening in your life, because you don't want to get caught up on cash flow. Why? Because you will fall into depression so deep and you'll lose all forms of strength as it relates to your mental health, because you're going to do exactly what the money is doing. You're going to go up and down. Circumstance, you go up and down, you're up and down. You'll have no center. You'll be grounded in nothing as opposed to be grounded in the truth, right? And the truth is that these are only transactions. Nothing can ever take away your wealthy, prosperous, abundant nature. Yesterday, if you saw a post I put, it says true wealth is not in your money. True wealth is in your consciousness, right? It's not in your money. It's in your consciousness. Do you know consciousness still exists when you die? That's how people can contact you on the other side. Your consciousness is still existing. It's eternal. It's indestructible. It can't be affected. So why not root ourselves in that, as opposed to watching our money go from 100,000 to 60,000 to 40,000, 20,000, back up to 70,000. Like, that is too much for a human to possibly go through. One, it's going to tear your insides apart because your organs can't take all those shifts. It becomes a stressful state of being. And then you just find that you're in fight or flight all the time. And we just don't want to be there. We want to be at peace, right? We want to be at peace, whether we have 100 million or $100, whatever it is, it should never matter, because what's within always says that we are wealthy, we are prosperous, we are abundant. So in a sense, wrapping this up, when I say pay no attention to it to the degree that it charges you emotionally. That is the biggest thing. Because if it's charging you up emotionally, especially in a negative way, you'll never get ahead. You'll never get ahead. And then, you just find yourself being thrown back and forth, right? Up and down. So really focus on within, the abundance within, the divine abundance that the God in you has given you freely without anything else, that is there for eternity. Focus on that, right? Focus on that. And for me, two scriptures stand out. All that the Father has is mine, and the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want, or better yet, I like to put the New International Version. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing, right? And that roots my consciousness into a place to know that regardless of what's going on outside of me, I'm always going to be prosperous. I'm always going to be wealthy. And what happens is when you adopt that and you hold it long enough, money always finds a way to come into your life. Why? Because when you're rooted in God, you'll see later on another bullet point. God can't know lack. God can never know lack. God is only abundance. The divine mind only knows abundance. You are in the divine mind. The divine mind is connected to our own minds, our own consciousness. So we have the choice to take it at what it is, or say, nope, keep your abundance. I'd rather live in lack. I'd rather struggle. I'd rather just, not have anything. Like, you have to make a choice with that. Make the right choice. Make the choice that profits you and helps you to live happily, stress-free, and at ease. All right. Number 2. God has freely given you all the answers, wisdom, and truth within yourself, which I have just pretty much gone through. The truth of the matter is the universe is abundant. The universe can only know abundance, right? The universe can only know abundance. There is no lack within this universe unless we build a perception of lack. Lack has to be perceived. So let me take you through the course of what lack actually is. Right? I'll give you an example. I wake up, right? Instead of saying, I'm filled with life, we go, my body hurts. Bing! Lack number one. lack demerit number one. Instead of saying, I have this whole day to make the most of and impact lives in the most amazing way from a place of love. We say, I do not want to deal with these people at work and these crazy people on social media who don't do anything for me, who only take from me, yada, 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 sis, boom, bada. Ding! Lack demerit number 2. So you see how that becomes a choice. But the beauty is those choices lie within the emotions that are resonating within your system. Okay. And so basically, if you hadn't done this already, let's say if you're my age, which I'll be 39 in a few weeks here. Yes. But if you're my age, you should be at a point where you've really processed a lot of the stagnant emotions that are in your system. And if you hadn't, I'm telling you, get on it. And the reason why it's important to get on it is this. Emotions will keep you stuck in a place that looks like you're going through Groundhog Day. They will not allow you to move ahead. And here's why. Let's say I have a dominant emotion, at one time I did, of low self-worth. Guess what? All of my thoughts are going to be resonant with low self-worth. That's just how it is, right? The moment I say, you know what, I'm ready to raise my income, something will come up. Well, you ain't income, boy, child, please. That's the kind of stuff you hear when your emotions resonate with low self-worth. But the thing is, they're not even really your thought patterns. There's thought patterns that somebody else has given you that you've attached yourself to. So now you got to release them, let them go, and understand who you really are. Getting back to wealth, prosperity, consciousness. What does God say about us, right? Absolutely infallible, indestructible, immutable. Love, unconditional love is how God feels towards every human being. And how do you know this? You're alive. That's the ultimate form or gift of abundance is that all trillion of your cells are working every moment of every day. Your heart's beating every moment of every day. Your body can function. I can make sounds that you can hear and understand because of the divine. So it's already given me every single thing I need within, answers, wisdom, truth, within myself, within you. But you, we, us have to decide, right? Are we going to use it? Or are we just going to like go to the shelf and pick out all the lack stuff, right? And everybody has a choice. In the type of universe we live in, like we were saying a couple of days ago, it's dancing. I mean, it's moving the entire time, even at this moment. And all the stuff that you're doing is making an impression in it. And see, the universe is impersonal. Although God is personal, the universe is impersonal in the sense that it's set up to follow the law without fail. And by following the law without fail, you know what that means? That means it's just kind of waiting, just like this, waiting for you to place an order. And you know how you place an order? By a thought infused with feeling. You know how you place an order? By making certain choices. You know how you place an order? By really being rooted in what you believe to be true. And the moment you place that order, universe picks it up. Got it. And it shifts the state of reality right at that moment. Every single moment of the day, the universe is picking up what you're putting down, right? So if you're saying, oh, lack, you're going to get more and more reasons to go lack. But if you switch that up and you go wealth, prosperity, abundance, and you move in that, and all that is understanding. And it's so simple. And I'm going to put it so simple, almost like kindergarten style for you. All a wealth consciousness is basically understanding two things. You are more than enough and you are worthy. That's all that is. Those two shifts equate to self-love, which then equates to you understanding that you deserve to have the very best that life has to offer. And I'm telling you, sometimes getting back to those emotions again, you got to release those if you're going to rise higher and continue to rise higher and continue to realize your potential, right? The one problem I see all the time over the course of the years as I've trained and came in contact with people is that, and this is getting back to number one, people go directly outside to try to fix the problem. Can I create an analogy for you? Going outside of yourself to try to fix the problems that are actually within is like going to the ocean with a washcloth from your kitchen and trying to dry it out. You see how absurd that is? But the thing is don't feel guilty because most people don't know this, right? Most people don't know this. They spend years trying to solve issues from the outside with all their energy, all their might, when in actuality, you just shift within and understand what number two is telling you. And it's a whole lot easier, right? Anytime you have a money issue, talking about, wealth consciousness, begin to feel abundant, begin to feel, the abundance and the prosperity and the wealth that's already there, that you are worthy, that you are enough. And all of a sudden, that change, that shift in you creates a shift outside of you that brings more money to you, as opposed to going out, looking for a job, coming up on whammies, dealing with people you don't want to deal with, burning up all your gas, driving all to these places. It's never about going without. It's understanding that you have all the answers. You have all the wisdom. You have all the truth inside yourself. So go within, find it there. No headaches, right? Piece of cake. It's that simple. It can be that easy when you learn to train yourself to do it. All right. Number 3, touched on this earlier. Got to make sure all my spelling's on point. The universe only knows overflow and abundance. Yes, you are included in on this. Why? Because you are the universe. I am the universe. I am a version, an aspect of the universe coming to you as yourself, connected to you just like all the rest of the world. And it only knows abundance, right? It only knows abundance. And how do I know this? Case in point, every single day of my life, I think about how I can give from myself and give in a place of love. And it's so powerful that it transfers out to this, right? Or transfers out to any type of inspirational message, any type of act to help people, any type of anything that is rooted in love. It is evidence that the universe is abundance, right? And so, especially when you understand you can charge hundreds of thousands of dollars for what it is that you're offering, and yet you give it free. Most people say, well, why do you do that? Like, there's no guarantee, but there is a guarantee. There's a guarantee that I'm receiving the abundance from within myself, which then translates out, maybe not to this channel, but another channel, that I receive it back, right? But it all starts with me doing it out of love and that abundance, that overflow that is always present in everything in the universe, from nature down to human beings. So number 3 is more of a concept to familiarize yourself with, that really helps you to begin to see the world in that capacity, right? Because if we're seeing the world in overflow, if we're seeing the world in abundance, guess what? That has to be our experience. And our job is to think on it so much, but more importantly, more feelingly, that it begins to create those patterns within the universe. Why? Because that's how it works. It's waiting on you to observe. It's waiting on you to picture. It's waiting on you to discover things that resonate with who you are, what you're feeling, right? So it's important for us to know that. So when you say overflow and abundance, you might ask, well, what areas are you talking about? Every single thing, every single area, right? Every single area possible within perceived existence. The universe only knows overflow and abundance. Now, at first glance, that may seem like something that, like, okay, yeah. But there's certain concepts you want to take deeper. You want to go deeper with. And what I mean by go deeper with is ask for the truth to be revealed to you, because it's already inside you. But ask for the truth of this statement to be revealed to you, right? And what that means. And sometimes I remember when I asked about that, what does it mean that the universe is abundant, that it's overflow, that I'm abundant? What does that mean? And the divine simply said, you never have to worry. And that was enough. And that just kind of just like, boom, just like hit me with a revelation of divine light. That's all I needed to know, that I didn't have to worry. And I took that for the truth that it was. But no, overflow, abundance is everywhere. And when you make up your mind that you're going to see that, guess what? You see it happening, because the truth of the matter is, law of relativity states, another universal law, that it's good to know nothing. See, the relativity or the law of opposites, either way, nothing is good or bad or anything until we decide, right? Nothing is good or bad until we decide. And how do you know this? Your perfect example is this. So let's say 2 men are standing right in front of me. One of them is homeless. One of them, let's say, has a great job and is making tons of money. And I pull out $10, two $10 bills. I give $10 to the homeless guy and $10 to the other guy. In most cases, you want to have two different reactions, right? Sometimes the guy with a lot of money may be, oh yeah, this is amazing. Thank you for this. I mean, I would be like that, totally. But the homeless guy is gonna be like, oh my, this is so I can go eat and what you and such and all this stuff like that. It's gonna be so exciting. So you get the same scenario with two different people and two different reactions, which tell us what? The universe is completely neutral. It's neutral until we decide. So if we have to decide, let's decide on abundance. Plain and simple. Let's decide on abundance. Tell you one more thing. I'll be out walking sometimes and I always find like dimes and pennies, right? And about 10 years ago, I used to be like, oh, what is this? This ain't gonna do anything for me, right? Actually, more than 10 years ago. But anyway, of late, for like the last decade, I would pick it up and I would say thank you, because that was not included in all what I needed in order to live my life for the day. So that becomes abundance. And see, sometimes the universe will see, how do you respond? You ask me for abundance, I give you a dime. Are you going to be grateful for it? Or are you going to take it and throw it out into the lake? And I'm always grateful for it now, because that's an overflow, right? And then when you see that, you're like, okay, universe, let's get more specific, right? I want an overflow of $1,000 instead. Okay, your wish is my command, right? But you got to feel it first. You got to get it in your consciousness before you can get it on the outside. But I'm happy that you're understanding that I am abundance and you are abundance. And that's what will come out into your experience, unless you hadn't dealt with those emotions. So you got to deal with those emotions. All right. Moving on. Number 4. So once again, I have to apologize. Actually, you know what? I ain't got to apologize. I just gave you a prelim, everything that I've written down, because I've written it down before I actually mentioned it, before I actually got to it. But it's good because it reiterates it into your consciousness, and then in your mind, and your subconscious mind can pick it up. So number 4, you have to place your attention on the wealth that is present in the form of gratitude. Okay. And so where do we start with that? There's a couple places we can start. The first place is within, right? Life is the ultimate form of wealth. And why do I say that? Is because you get to be here. If we really understood if we really understood the chances, the extreme chances of being born, of surviving the entire pregnancy, being born, surviving the entire childhood, right? And becoming adults, having experiences, if we really took the time to understand how much the odds are against us at even being conceived, we would fall to our knees and say thank you probably 1,000,000 times, right? I know the numbers. I don't know them exactly, but when you get off this, I want you to look up, what are the chances of being conceived as a human being? It's astronomical when you believe that, and you begin to see like, okay, this is real. This is real. All right. So let me just really be grateful for the existence that I have and all the experiences that I have. And when I say all the experiences, I'm saying all the experiences because it's love. It's all rooted to bring you back to a place of love. Right? That's why you can be grateful for even some of the worst things happening, because it's all back to love. And that's all a wealth consciousness is a consciousness filled with love and gratitude for what is, no matter what is present in your life. You remember how we said you get to decide? Put gratitude on it. Put love on it. Say thank you. Whatever it is, say thank you, infuse it with thank you, and understand that there is a magnificent truth to be unfold and to be told when we pay attention to the wealth that's already present, which is all the blessings that we have, roof over our head, clothes, technology, right? All these luxuries. Because if you really want to see how wealthy you are, go to a third world country and you'll begin to start, praising God and everything else for your blessings really quick when you see how poor, or sorry, not poor, but impoverished a lot of these people are living. It's crazy to think that that's actually existing in this world, but go to a third world country, watch it on TV. You'll see how wealthy, especially in the Western world, we are with all our gadgets and shit and other things like that. So, but focus on the wealth that's here. Put gratitude on it, whatever that may be. Focus on that and amplify it. Energy goes where attention flows. Put your attention on that, guys, and I promise you it will elevate everything in your life. It will elevate your consciousness, right? Gratitude is wealth in spiritual form. Gratitude is wealth in spiritual form. Okay? The number one thing you can do to expand more exponentially, say thank you. Thank you for everything. Just focus on thank you. Just by doing that, you become extraordinarily more intact with the inner wealth that you have, which then transfers to the outer wealth. It's all you got to do. All you got to do. All right. Wrapping that up. Actually, this is not the last thing, but if you have any questions, anything you'd like to share with me or with this ministry, guys, all right, anything you want to share, all you have to do is just basically write to us, me at ShaunG04@gmail.com. You have any comments, any prayers, any divine situations that you want resolved, right? Because that's what we're here for. That's what ministries are here, is to serve you and serve the people to be the very best that they can be. So use that to your advantage. And then moving into it, we encourage you every day, to sow a seed, even if you're asleep and you wake up and you're like, I got to sow a seed into the Heart of Christ ministry because that Reverend Shaun Robert Grant is something else. No, but anywho, if you find this content beneficial and you find that you've gained so much from it, not just today, but in the past and will be in the future, guys, by all means, sow a seed today. It helps the ministry expand. It helps the resources of the ministry to expand, and it helps me to grow as far as allowing more people to receive the encouragement, the empowerment, the uplifting that is rooted in the divine itself. So if you choose to do that, thank you in advance for your generosity. You can do it at Venmo, Heart of Christ Ministry, PayPal, ShaunG04@gmail.com. Apple Pay is an option as well. We can set that up if you send me an email. But any way you want to donate to this ministry, by all means, feel free to do so, because guess what? When you sow a seed into something that is divine, it's going to expand exponentially without question. Okay. So with that being said, guys, my computer is about to die and my charger has crapped out. So I got my message in at 34 minutes. Yes, sir. Very happy. Very thankful that you've joined me today. You got the wealth consciousness within you, guys. Use it. All right. Use it. May God bless you abundantly. May the presence of God in me bless the presence of God in you. Prayers uplifted for you, uplifted for this ministry, uplifted that wherever you go today, you will be blessed by the hand and by the grace of the divine, that every possible experience is one that brings you joy, brings you love, brings you peace, brings you excitement, and that you may have the awareness to know that you are enough, you are worthy, you are capable of what it is that you're desiring. And with that being said, I am signing off out here. All right. So have a wonderful Friday. I'm sure I'll be back tomorrow at some point. But other than that, thank you for your comments, your interaction. Take care. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.